Welcome to the Encountering Survivors program, sponsored by the Jewish Federation of Eastern Connecticut. In this program, your group will be partnered with a person who has survived the Holocaust or the child of a Holocaust survivor. My name is Matt Cataret. I'm the librarian for Waterford High School, and with my colleague and history teacher Brian Ash, have been involved with the Encountering Survivors program for over 10 years. The following is a very brief introduction to the Encountering Survivors program, along with some suggestions for creating an oral history and some possible topics for discussion or research and suggested sources for understanding anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. You will have 3 meetings with a survivor or children of a survivor. Your 3 meetings will be roughly before the war, during the war, and after the war. Before the war, often the least amount of information will be gathered. Keep in mind that a person 10 years old in 1939 would be 92 in 2021. Or children of a survivor may not have all the answers because important family information will be lost or destroyed, and family histories and the families were also lost. The second meeting during the war is often the most difficult because of memories for a person to relate and for the teacher and the students to hear and witness. Please consider leaving some time during this interview for the person bringing up such difficult memories. Often they need to take a moment to gather themselves. Sometimes they need to stop to wipe away tears. And also leave some time after the interview with the class to process what they heard. I have found that the second meeting can be very difficult information to hear for both teachers and students. So please keep that in mind. The third meeting after the war is often the most unpredictable. Some people survived and thrived in post-war America, while others found more anti-Semitism or were told to forget the past. To help you create an oral history, I've included a link here from the Smithsonian Institute on how to do oral history. But in general, I would suggest to be prepared to listen, especially to older people who might have thick accents, to take notes and to ask questions. Also, be prepared for some people to have a script that they work from. They may be older and forgetful of difficult memories from 70 to 80 years ago, or they may be self-conscious as public speakers. The people who are inviting us into their homes are not public speakers. They're not teachers, and this can be difficult for them. And so they rely upon a script, which makes it less of an interview, but it's still important to ask questions. If they mention something you do not understand, either ask them right away or ask them during the wrap-up at the end. For instance, 2 common questions that students have: what is Yiddish and what is Zionism? But many others may come up, and it's important for students to get clarity on whatever is confusing. If you are doing your interview over Zoom, please ask the person you are interviewing if you can record the session. Anti-Semitism is a term that might be new to students, and it's important for them to have a clear understanding of anti-Semitism. Some topics for possible discussion and research dealing with anti-Semitism throughout the centuries include the Black Death, the formation of ghettos starting in the 16th century, the Dreyfus Affair starting in the 19th century in France, dealing with a French army officer accused of treason, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, pamphlet that started circulating in the early 20th century, accusing Jews of creating a new world order, has been long recognized as a forgery and as completely fake, but continues to circulate. The Nuremberg Laws were a set of restrictive laws created by the Nazis in 1935, and Kristallnacht, an evening when, in 1938, when there was a concerted effort by the Nazis to burn down synagogues and wreak havoc on the Jewish communities. These are all possible discussion and research topics, but there are certainly many more. To help you understand anti-Semitism, there are two links here. The first one is from the Anti-Defamation League, and it is an article on anti-Semitism. The second is a short video, about 12 minutes long, from the website Facing History and Ourselves, talking about the ancient roots of anti-Semitism, going back to the ancient world and following through up until roughly the 17th century. As for the Holocaust, some possible topics for discussion and research might include talking about concentration camps. The Nazis had built over 1,000 of them. Some were extermination camps, some were work camps. So there is a wide variety of concentration camps throughout Europe. There's a variety of groups that were targeted, not only Jews, but people that opposed the Nazis, the Roma people, formerly known and inaccurately known as gypsies, homosexuals, Afro-Germans, and the mentally and physically disabled. Anne Frank will probably be known by most students, but is always worth rereading her diary and reading anything you can about Anne Frank. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising of 1943, Sophie Scholl and the White Rose Movement, which was a group of German students who were opposed to the Nazis. Hiram Bingham IV was a diplomat from Salem, Connecticut, who issued a number of passports to Jewish refugees in France. And then finally, the liberation of the camps by the Allied forces. And especially telling and devastating is their reaction to finding the camps and dealing with the people that were there when they arrived. To help you with that research, I've given just two different sources. There is the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum's Holocaust Encyclopedia. The website itself, in total, has an enormous amount of information. And about World War II in general, I've given a link to the teacher and student resources from that museum website. These are just suggestions. There is an enormous amount of information that is available in the historic record regarding World War II, regarding anti-Semitism, regarding the Holocaust, and regarding the Nazis. This is just a suggestion. When students have asked me, and I have been asked why I participate in this, the best answer I can come up with is the following. Any period in history that elicits the best and the worst of human nature is worth studying. And I think if done correctly, you will find the best and most heroic acts of humans, and likewise some of the worst and most deplorable acts by human beings. I hope this is helpful in beginning your program, Encountering Survivors. Thank you.